Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today's an episode 156. Today's episode we are going to dive into how to be a human while you are going through that spiritual awakening when you met your twin flame. As we know that at the moment you are having a human experience, but at the same time, while you are on your spiritual awakening or your twin flame spiritual awakening, you need to understand I need to live from the love, from the connection, from everything. And in today's episode, I want to walk you through what is about to be a human and how important it is. At the same time, why we are expanding our consciousness as a human, as a soul, as an evolving spirit. And also want to say to you that I would highly recommend you to listen to today's episode until the end or somewhere in between there, because at the end I have one little gift which was given by my soul brother, so maybe some of you need that. But let's dive into today's episode. I'm also going to say when this podcast is launched, I don't know, but our Bali retreat just went live and we are almost sold out. I don't know if by that time the podcast is released that we still have the places, but it's funny that this Bali retreat that we're gonna have during the Mahashivaratri in 2026 looks like more like a reunion than a new retreat, because most of you from the Costa Rica retreat, also from the Cyprus retreat, are now coming to Bali, and we have Australians of course who are joining us, which makes me very happy. But if you are a new soul here and you're looking a way to go deeper, then have a look if there is an available spot, or if you need some more information. We stay in an amazing place. You have a lot of benefits from there. It's not only we have mind, body and soul covered with massages, with the tours. We're gonna go to the temples, and then of course all of the activations, all of the ceremonies, everything will be there. But like I say, if your soul is calling you, then you're ready. Of course, I know many of you cannot join because Bali is on the other side of the world, and whichever reasons, I'll try my best to make sure that during this time, during the Mahashivaratri, we'll do again a live session where you can join as well. Last year we did it in Costa Rica and it worked out amazingly. Many of you felt the energy, what we were building as a field in Costa Rica, had a very profound experience. And there is even a saying in an ancient text that when you practice the spirituality or go deeper during the Mahashivaratri, it's years of spiritual work actually. I know I didn't know about anything about that night, and my retreat happened to be, my very first retreat happened to be during this time. While my soul knew it, I didn't. You see, the mind had no idea. And when I went to that retreat and felt the oneness and felt the love and felt everything, I realized, and then my twin after said to me everything what he was going through. I realized how significant is that day and how powerful, and ever since of that time I have been practicing it. Again, I'm not going to say to any one of you, you have to do this way, this is the time, everything. No, I believe that you know the best way if you go within. I just open a door, a portal for you to discover, for you to connect, for you to see. So yeah, we will be meeting in Bali in February 2026, and if you would like to, all the information is in the description. But let's now dive into the topic and journey of today. The human experience and the spiritual awakening often seem like they exist in two completely different realities. Have you ever felt that you have like two different realities that coexist? You're trying to be the human self who you were, But at the same time, now there is your spirit. There is the connection with that. Well, the truth is, one cannot really exist without one another. And that's why I really want to talk about it. Why the human experience and your spiritual awakening is very important, and how we can navigate on it. Because while awakening opens you up for the infinite consciousness, being human gives you that form, the contrast, the friction necessary for that consciousness to expand. Yeah? Meaning, you're gonna be around all the time as a spirit. But at the moment, you're having a human experience. And it's in that limitations of being human where your soul can now find a way of expressing, loving, being, creating the reality. But here is where the struggle often begins on this journey. The moment you awaken, every one of you know that the moment your awakening started, you were no longer the same person. And the awakening, of course, can happen through love, through loss, through your twin flame awakening. And from there on, your perceptions of the life starts to shift. And you no longer see through the eyes of survival or desire. You start seeing the world through the soul. Another day I was asked the question is 3D the same as a 5D? Because we talk about the fact that 5D are energetic and 3D is where me and you, let's say, sitting together and talking and touching and however it is. In my perspective, 3D is one of the most false realities we can ever have, apart from the social media. Social media is, I don't even know which reality, maybe one dense reality, I don't know. But that's one of the most fake world out there, fake reality. But apparently it also affects our mind, affects our decisions, what we're gonna do, why the influencers are so popular. Because of you watch this, that becomes part of your reality, and you start making decisions based on that. But now you begin to sense the patterns, you start to feel the energy, and you start to understand truth beyond logic. So here is a very difficult part that sometimes you feel in 5D, and how many of you have told me, I felt that, I felt this, but then my twin said, I don't want to see you, I don't want to talk to you, you don't exist. But at the same time you felt. I was asked another day that are twin flames really real? And this is with what I had a conversation with my twin long back ago, not about twin flames, but he said such a golden words that I stole it from him. He literally said, I don't care about some label or whatever it is there. Although, just as a side note, I never mentioned anything about twin flames, but we have a different topic. And he said, I don't care about labels or whatever. I know what I felt. And I cannot say that this didn't happen. So is it real or not real? Whoever wants to decide by yourself. But I know what I felt. And that's real for me. And I find it's the truth about twin flames as well, in that sense. If you think about it, are they real? My question would be for you, well, what you felt, was that real? Or was that a dream? Or did you make this up to feel that you need to belong somewhere? I know in my beginning episodes I mentioned this a lot, where I say that I have no particular reason to make this up. Absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even want to make, like, if I would like to make up these stories. For what? For what benefit? I don't make this up. This literally happened to me. And then followed up with my awakening. Because we know that twin flame is your spiritual awakening. So like I said, you start to see the patterns, you see the signs, you feel the energies, you start to understand the truth beyond logic. But at the same time, your nervous system, your emotional body and human self is so scared and operate in an old way that it doesn't want to match the higher awareness. And that's where it comes the problem. And that's where the split of many of us, including myself, feel and felt. One part of you, the love, the everything, is awakening into timelessness. We're all love, we are one, all is energy, everything is divinely ordered, divine protection, there's a divine guidance, everything. But the other part of you is still living in time. It still wants clarity. It wants to have a reassurance, partnership, safety, touch, and understanding. And this is here where now somehow the real mastery of a twin flame path starts. How to live both the human and divine without abandoning one another, without feeling that, because I'm just going to tell you, once you leave from this body, you're going to be the spirit. You're going to continue. The fact that you get to have this human life right now, no matter how painful it is, no matter how unfair it is, even if the old is falling apart, believe me, the old is falling apart because it's no longer part of your frequency. It's not here to punish you at all, even though it feels like. But think of it like it's a clean state. Your ego no longer has labels. Are you rich? Are you poor? Are you talented? Are you not? Are you strong? Are you weak? None of this is there. It purifies it all and it gives you empty book and says, follow me and write your story. So the truth is that awakening somehow does not make you a less of a human. It actually makes you even more because you start feeling everything. Now you feel like a cosmic waves are moving through you and you start making so much sense of everything. You see the signs. I work with a lot of people, and apart from the twin flame journey, I'm not in the business world in that sense. It's because I've been on my whole life. And when I give the business coaching, when I am with my clients, I often plant the seeds. And I start seeing that some of the people, they don't see the signs, they don't see anything. And others would come to me and say, hey, I noticed 111. I noticed this, I noticed that. Or I felt that I have to do this decision. I don't know why I have to make that decision, but I have to make that decision. And it's so beautiful to see. Because you are now happening. It's already coming. You are actually becoming more human than ever before. But the thing is that when the awakening happens, when the Kundalini, once we talk about it, we know that your twin flame activates your Kundalini. It starts to remove your coping mechanism. So before, the mind could protect itself from denial, distraction, projections, everything. The mind had the power. But when the soul begins to awaken, all of this starts to crumble. And it's not a punishment. It's not a punishment. And I know how you feel. I felt that too. But it's actually a purification. And you start to see your patterns with honesty. You start to see what you have been repeating in your life over and over and over. And you no longer can run from your wounds. Because now they are here. They are here right in front of you. As painful as hell. But they are ready to be transmuted. And here where the human mind starts to panic. Because the mind wants to understand. It wants to fix. It wants to know when. the pain will end, when it's over, when the union will happen, when the peace will come. But the spiritual process moves in spirals and not in lines, so it doesn't care about when or how or anything. You are not healing toward an outcome, you are unfolding into oneness, into wholeness, into everything. So it's a little bit like learning to swim in a deep water while your instinct is still to stand on the ground. I often say that because I often say on the first calls that we have a activation there where I mentioned that me and you are standing on a cliff. And you know how to jump into the ocean. You know how to do everything because you know you're ready for it. But your mind would come in and go, maybe it's too cold, maybe it's too deep, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and I cannot get out. And then I am the friend of yours who's pushing you in and says, you're ready. Because the human mind likes stability, and there is nothing wrong with that. But your soul is learning and teaching you, teaching you to trust the flow. And here is the mistakes many of us making it on this journey. And I see this over and over and over again, and myself included, is that we are trying to get rid of that human part. And we think that it's somehow lower or unspiritual or in the way. Let's say if you are a human and you think of certain ways from your ego, let's say today you're thinking, I want to be with this person. I want to receive the text message because it makes me happy. It makes me smile. If they pay attention to me, all of this. And all of a sudden then we feel, but I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should be in control because I am going through a spiritual awakening. You see what happens when you listen to that? You see that you're going into another thing, what I have to do and who I am. So you're putting yourself another label. No, you are a human. And believe me, you're going to have a day where you're going to wake up and you feel, I want to have this hug. Or I want to read that text message where that person says, I love you too. You are the most beautiful person on earth. I want to be with you. Or you're going to hold the hands or kiss each other. That's human, and that's all what we are here. And while we talk about that twin flames are your spiritual awakening, because it is, they trigger your spiritual awakening. It's designed this way, and that's okay. It's one of the most actually profound ways of awakening because it brings you back to the love. But what I want to tell you here is that do not skip the part when you feel I'm human. Because that's not how awakening works. I often hear also where people say, yes, I was told that as it's a spiritual awakening, I can't be with my twin flame. Who says that? Why to put limiting beliefs? Yes, there is an issue when we get stuck in the outcome. And that's what I'm talking about it here. Human and spiritual awakening, we bring them together. You are having a human experience. Make the most of it. With your mistakes, with your failures, with your love, with your happiness, with your moment. Make the most. Because right now you get to express yourself as a human. You know how spirits have to communicate with us. 555-222-212-717. Greetings to my 717 soul who is talking to me. Or sending you feathers or coming through the dreams. The spirit cannot come to you and look at you in the eye and say, I'm here. Listen to me. I want to talk to you. The spirit has to find different ways of talking to you. But you are having a human experience right now. And you have a chance to express and be different. So, like I said, this is not how awakening works. Your emotions, your fears, your needs, they are not barriers to your ascension. They are portals. They are literally portals. You cannot bring the light while you're denying the shadow. you have to integrate the light by bringing awareness into the places that forget that it existed, that the love is there. So when your heart breaks, instead of asking, how can I stop this? How can I run away from when it's going to stop? You ask yourself for a moment, what is this pain trying to show me about love? Where I have forgotten? For example, often on Twin Flame Journey, we have a lot about abandonment and rejection and enormous fear that your twin will not return. The days, the time feels endless. One day can feel like a 1 year because you're waiting for them to reach out to you. But instead of chasing or running as well, stop for a moment and ask, what part of me still believes that I have to be left behind? Because awakening is not about letting go of the human emotions. It's not an idea that you start, I always say, to not start lying to yourself. You can lie to me, you can lie to others, but don't lie to yourself. Be honest with your soul, be honest with your truth. If you love your twin flame and if you want to be with your twin flame, say it out for yourself today. Say it out, no, I want this love. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean that you now get stuck on this and saying, oh, I want this love, and I don't know what to do. No. You listen to it. Because you're transforming this into a consciousness. Because the reason that the twin flame journey is so hard, because of that love is bringing you through every layer of your illusion that you have built to survive anything. And I went through that. Like I always say, I don't wish that to anyone. At the same time, I do. It shows you everything that you are not, the parts of you that you have not been yourself. All the love that you've been holding back. All the fears that you have are there. And that feels like madness. Because you are now pulled away from everything that isn't true. And here is a big paradox. That the more spiritual aware you become, the more tender your human will feel. So I know that often I get on this journey that I feel like I'm falling backwards. On the previous episode I talk about it. I'm like, no, you are not actually. You are on a breakthrough. Because the more aware you are of the energies you channel, you hear, you connect, you have the universe talking to you, the more tender your human part becomes, because you're realizing, oh my God, I see so much truth. And you start to see that the divine pattern behind every event, everything that happens, even if it's a negative, you're realizing, wow, it's working towards me. And you start to understand why this separation is so necessary. Of course, you would like to have the person there, but you start to realize how blessed you are. I love this. I have this another beautiful soul on this journey, another day. I'm so glad we have become very close. And she's in her 60s. And she said to me that, B, like she said another time, there's nothing more divine on this journey. Like, how can you talk? There is something divine on this journey. Another day also, she gave me the best compliment of the day, saying, there's nothing divine here. I don't understand how someone can hurt me so hard and not maybe even loving me. I wouldn't hurt anybody. But there's one thing that is divine, and it's that talking to you. And it really gave me a beautiful feeling that maybe that was the reason for us to connect. And when there is this contrast, as we know, the awakening tells your soul, divine love, truth, expansion, all of that. And then your human self is in fear, gets triggered, still longing, still has the doubts. Is it the twin flame journey or not? What it is, what is happening? And sometimes this contrast can feel absolutely unbearable. Because your soul knows oneness. And at the same time, your human heart is in a separation, aches for the separation, feels the pain. And like I said, I can tell you that, yeah, your twin is loving you in 5D. And then you look at me and you would be like, well, good for this 5D. But I would like that someone would express this to me, tell me this. And it's the same with the timing, for example, when it's happened. Your higher self trusts the timing, knows the timing, there is no problem. But your mind wants to control. Your spirit moves in surrender, while your ego wants to stay where it's safe. And somehow the awakening, as we know, it's Eckhart Tolle also who have said, you must die and be reborn again. Because to release any identities, and I say the same thing about Twin Flame Journey. Every information you have received, even from me, for example, or anywhere else you read, you connect, you watch, try to release that sometimes. Try to release the part of, I am divine feminine and he is divine masculine. I am the chaser and I am the runner, or he is the runner and she is the thing. All of this mind talk, try to release them. See what happens. And why I talk about it this way is because we need to remove the identities, the knowings, everything is there, because you will not bring the difference if you put yourself in the box of limitations, box of information, box of everything. I've always said why I love doing the activations and why I love going to deep meditations and all of this. Because I want you to find your own truth. Yes, I do agree that channeling is very powerful. And why? Because sometimes we have this truth within ourselves, but we don't let this to come. And then when you have someone, let's say me or somebody else who channels for you your field, you're realizing, oh, I knew that all the time. And you go back to the trust. And that's where we see so much changes and shifts on this journey. But I want to bring you through how you can navigate this, how you can be a human having a spiritual experience. Number one, accept that you're living between two worlds. Accept the part that you are human and you're divine. And you are meant to unify them, not to separate them. And there is nothing wrong of being a human while Twin Flame Journey. Nothing. And this has to stop of blaming yourself, where you fall backwards of loving someone. There's nothing more beautiful than loving. I know that feels very heartbroken when you don't hear it back. But most of the suffering on this part comes from the resistance. In a sense of trying to be only spiritual, I have to be this way, or only human. Your soul is asking for the integration. Your soul is not asking, the awakening is asking, become one. Be the human that is led by the soul. And allow yourself to be both. Allow yourself to be the one who meditates, channels, divine guidance, and also the part that cries because your heart is missing your twin flame. Or your heart is missing the love. Or your heart is missing an attention. We are humans. Like there is nothing more beautiful when someone gives you a compliment. Or when someone holds your hand and says, I'm here with you. Or someone kisses you. Or someone hugs you. There's nothing more beautiful than this. So why are we trying to push this away? Why I talk about it, the only thing I say, we cannot get stuck in a loop. That's important. Meaning where you are repeating the same thing over and over and over again. You can be the one that feels like when you come to the activations, you feel like infinite peace, you feel so good. And then at the same time, you can feel absolutely lost in the middle of the night and wondering, is that even real? It's all real. It's all real, and it's all sacred, and it's beautiful experience. Think of this a little bit like a game. And we are most probably in some simulation. Another day I had a very interesting, and I said, what kind of a simulation I am living in? I posted on my Instagram, or our Twin Flame Instagram, that look me in the eye and say that there is nothing there. I double dare, like that, I double dare you. And on the same day, a random person, looked deeply into my eye and said, I've never seen more beautiful eyes than yours. And I just started laughing. I was like, what kind of game is that? I just posted this, and now in that simulation, there is a person who comes and tells me this kind of thing. So I would just say, you need to relax that you are a human and spiritual, because sometimes I feel we're getting so lost in the spiritual world as well. I have to meditate. I have to go get up. I have to do this. Well, what you're doing, you're putting yourself a list of things what you have to do in order to have an outcome. And soul doesn't work on outcomes. Not at all. It is working on the energy. So, the next thing is, talking of the energy, is to ground your energy into the body. As when your Kundalini rises and your heart opens and your third eye awakens, the body, your own body, becomes the container of all of this. So without proper grounding, that awakening can be very, very overwhelming, which means it leads up to an anxiety, sleeplessness, emotions, physical symptoms. Very normal. That's what Kundalini does. I didn't sleep 1.5 months. I slept in the nighttime maybe 5-10 minutes. It was literally, I have said so many times that I slept from like this, that I had friends at the nighttime going on my laptop. I had friends going on, and every time in 5 minutes I woke up, and then the friends were able to calm me down, and I didn't know at the time it was my awakening. I thought I'm nuts. I'm absolutely nuts. And of course, you go more crazy if you don't sleep. So grounding is important, and grounding doesn't mean you're falling back to your 3D. It allows you to hold the light through your human form. I'm going to say, another day I listened again to IAMLOVE, and I shared on my Instagram about it. And it was very interesting, where he said that we are using, so on average, I think we are using 2 to 3% of our brain capacity. The maximum level we can go is most likely the 15. These are all of the brilliant people in the world, let's say. So now, if you think about it, and IAMLOVE also said, our body cannot hold more of the information or more of the energy. It simply is not designed, because he was talking about the extra, like other forms of in our universe. If there are, let's say, UFOs or like whatever is there, our body cannot hold it. So now think of the same way. When Kundalini rises through you, your body is not used to with this. You're supercharged. And the same happens to your twin. And if you wonder why they run, they don't run because they don't love you. Not at all. They run because they felt something so insanely deep and crazy that you have never felt before. So now what starts to happen is the fact that your body needs to integrate. We know that Kundalini opens up your ways of consciousness. In certain ways, you're gonna become a superhuman. But your body is not used to with that yet. So grounding. Walk barefoot. Eat food that nurtures you. Breathe. Move your body. Dance. Stretch. Let the energy flow. Tell your body it's safe to be in this body. It's all good. It's divine that coming through you, and it's not outside of you. It's nothing that works against you. But the energy is intense. So I always say, in a certain ways of when we end in the activation process or anything like this, I always mention, please drink a lot of water. And I'm not saying that from the fact that, oh, water is healthy, drink it. No, it helps you to integrate. Walk barefoot, have a moment. Don't just get up and go, because if you do that, your body gets into shock and it's not good. So let's move on from here, from the third. Start honoring your human emotions instead of escaping them. Spiritual awakening is not about that you need to stop feeling. It actually means that you start feeling now everything. How many of you have told me, I've never felt so much love within me, and I also have never felt so much pain within me, and when this pain will stop? Emotions are not, when you are crying there today, for example, and you feel so sad, rejected, abandoned, or you feel like it's not happening to me. It's not that you have failed. It's actually showing that your energy is clearing. It's not easy. I don't say that it's easy. I that's not the point what I'm trying to bring it here. That yes, cry for 24 hours, you're gonna feel so good, it's easy. No, it's not. It's heartbreaking. But it's part of the process. And that's why I've always said as well, on my podcast and all of the things that I do from the fact that I felt I needed them on this time. And even talking, and I wanted to talk about, my soul has been a lot about coming up to me about it, that as I offer, of course, channeling, and there is an activation, but I also offer an option to talk. And that's why the first call is always about talking. Why? Because just getting off from your heart, from your space to talk to someone, that's why, in that sense, therapy is very powerful. But therapy limits you on this part. But it's very powerful. Don't get me wrong. Talking to someone what you're going through is so helpful, and it's again proven. Of course, you have to find someone you feel in alignment. But talking of the first call, I love our community. And another day, my beautiful soul, my soul brother, made a booking for someone else. So he paid ahead for someone to come and have a call with me. So there is one call that is being booked ahead. And he said, these were his words. So I'm just saying to you that whoever has been dreaming of having a call with me or has been dreaming to talk about it, you have one free session. The code is in the description. Use the code for the first consultation session, and it's yours whenever you feel like. But his words were also, so just to say, my love, I also want to talk to you about something. So since our session, which helped me tremendously, I feel the urge to offer a consultation call to a person who really needs it. I was honestly struggling, not sure if it was my inability to accept the beautiful kind of gesture or of my desire to support another soul on this journey. But the more I feel into this, it is the second. So in your next episode, I would really like to offer a call to someone who just starts their journey and needs it. Help is always there whenever we need the most, and I'm forever grateful. And that was very funny that on that day I went to bed with an enormous gratitude, because another soul literally wrote to me, I think it was like an hour later. And she wrote to me, Dear B, I'm writing to you today because there's an incredible woman who has been walking this twin flame journey with since we first met in Italy. And this moment, I really feel she needs to connect with you. She has already listened to your podcast and feels the deep resonance, but she currently doesn't have the means to book the session with you. With her permission, I would love to offer her a first consultation call. Let me know if I can do it. Do you see how beautiful is our community? We feel the other's pain. We know the loneliness over there. And we know how much it helped to talk to someone who understands the journey. So I just wanted to say that the code is in the description. Use that on the website on the first call, and that will be yours. There's only one available, but it's paid forward through my soul brother. And I love how others are helping one another here. You're beautiful people. And God is great. God has given me the best gift. God, universe, source has given me the best gift of all of you. And I'm so excited that I get to meet again the new group in Cyprus now. And Bali is coming up. I'm blessed. And you are blessed because you met your twin. And don't forget that love is the source. So when the longing is in your heart, let it be there. Let yourself to be open. Don't close it down. Because this journey will bring you to the edges of love and pain. And you realize that they are not opposite. They are the union. And here is a very important thing to remember. You cannot transcend what you haven't allowed yourself to feel. Take this for a moment, I repeat that. You cannot transcend what you haven't allowed yourself to feel. Number 4 over here will be let go of the need of understanding everything. Just let go. You will not figure this out. Just let it go. You will not have the answers. Your mind will never be able to understand what it is. Like the same way we are unable to grasp how huge is the universe. You will not be able to understand what it is. What your soul is going to do. The mind likes timelines, certainty, control. But awakening will remove that. There is no control anymore. At the paradox, there is a control, but there is no control. There are no timelines that this is going to happen. Tomorrow is this, then it's that, then it's this. You are not a robot, my dear. You are a soul having a human experience. And then there will be times where you feel absolutely blindfolded and you will be led by your intuition. And how many times you have said to yourself, I just felt doing it. I didn't have any sense. I didn't know why I have to go there. I didn't know what's going to come there. And there I was, and it all made sense to me on that moment. Oh, how exciting. How exciting is that? And you know, when the life gives you these little surprises, it's like the same way when you go, for example, somewhere. Let's say you go to a hotel, and all of a sudden the hotel will offer you a piece of cake for free, of saying, oh, that's complimentary from us. And you'll be feeling like, oh my God, thank you. You didn't expect that to happen. It wasn't part of your list. It wasn't part of your control, and now it happened. And then there will be moments where nothing makes sense. Absolutely nothing makes sense on your journey. But at the same time, your heart whispers, keep going, keep going, keep going. You know where to go. You know the next door. Keep going. Trust that whisper. Trust that knowing where you're going without knowing. And that's the language of your higher self. The higher self does not have a logic. At the same time, it does. And the more you surrender your control, the more you align with the divine plan that is already telling what the plan that you made of coming here. Let go of the control what's going to happen tomorrow, in 5 years, or in 10 years. Let go of that. It doesn't matter, because all you have to be is right now, right here. And remember, you don't awaken by figuring it out. You will not. I'm going to tell you, you will not figure this out. Let it go. You're not. Whether twin flames are real or not real, whether it's this or that, whether it happens, no, you'll not figure this out. You awaken by allowing it, by allowing what's coming is there. Number 5, I would say, bring the spiritual awareness into your daily life. Because the awakening doesn't happen on a yoga mat or during the energy activation. It actually happens in the small human moments. When you choose compassion over reaction. When you speak your truth with love instead of fear. When you pause for a moment when you judge someone or yourself or your counterpart, when you go into the judgment, this is this, pause yourself and say, I let go. And when you breathe before you respond on something, don't respond always from your emotions. And that actually means you live from your awakening. You can't escape this life. You're here to embody the consciousness in life. Every conversation, every challenge, every act of patience becomes part of your spiritual practice. And remember, even that you came to this podcast and somehow you connected with me, it's not an accident. It's not an accident. You were about to hear that frequency. Number 6 will be surrender into the mystery. There definitely will be times where you feel absolutely lost, disconnected, or exhausted. You feel it's the biggest punishment of your lifetime. But those moments are not failures at all. They're part of the integration. They're part of that journey. So think of it like waves. Moments of expansion and contraction. Expansion, contraction. Expansion, contraction. Expansion, contraction. Union and separation. Union and separation. Union and separation. Light and shadow. The ebb and flow. This is how energy harmonizes it. So when you feel like you can't do this anymore, as you say, this is just too sacred. This is love. This is me. And everything will start to collapse. Remember, every separation is a deeper reunion with yourself. Every separation. Every time you feel, you go closer to yourself. And remember that the purpose of this is love. Because we know the heart of this journey, beyond all of the ascension and everything you're going through, is love. Not exactly the romantic kind of love, but the pure frequency of love. The romantic love is very different than the pure frequency of love. Because love holds the universe together. You awaken by not to get your twin, I'm gonna get my twin, but to become the vibration of love itself. And when you embody that, everything aligns naturally. Everything. I hear that so often when people say, how can I, let's say, live my marriage? Or how can I do this? Shall I do that? And I say, work on yourself. Become the love. When you are the love, everything else is guided by you. The relationship, your purpose, your abundance, everything will be aligned. Because love is the path. Love is the lesson. Love is the journey without a destination. And what about love? Love is not something we're going to arrive at and say, now I'm here and I am happy and look, I am love. Yes, you're going to feel the samadhi. You're going to feel where you're one with everything. You feel the love from the universe. You feel the oneness. You feel the death of your ego and how your soul is merging, and there is so much love in there. But it's not something where you're going to arrive and say, I have arrived. Tick. It's not a goal. It's not a reward. Not the ending point of a painful path. Love is the path. Love is the path itself. And we spend so much time of searching for the union. How many times you have Googled when the union will happen? Any kind of YouTube header or post that you see on social media says, union happens tomorrow, union there, will get your attention. And we spend time for looking for peace, for the moment when it will finally make sense. But what if the search itself is love that is moving through us? What if every heartbreak, every longing, every moment of surrendering is simply love guiding back to who we are? And on this twin flame journey, we can often get caught that we believe that love is somewhere ahead, in reunion, in divine timing, in that moment when everything aligns and everything happens. But the deeper you awaken, the more you realize love has never been ahead of you. It has always been within you. It's always there. The human mind seeks for the destination, the final knowing, but the soul just lives here. And you need to let your human awareness to come to this, just to this unfolding. And love is not what we reach, it's what we remember all the time within us, in every step, every moment, every connection, every word, anything there. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you, my beautiful human, and at the same time a beautiful soul. You are having a beautiful experience. Love is the journey. There is no end destination. What I also wanted to tell you is the fact that I will go through a few things that we have upcoming. So just going through the few things here, as you know, the Bali retreat. If this episode is live and if we still have houses and rooms available, please drop me a message. It will be a wonderful experience for you. Or if not, then for the next retreat, of course. On Patreon, we'll meet again. We have an inner dance on this Sunday, on the 26th of October. Inner dance, we might have also a guest facilitators coming. Inner dance is one of the deepest way of going. I've shared about it, what happens in your brain, what happens in this. It can be uncomfortable in certain places, in certain moments, but it is part of the process. It's a beautiful experience. So come and try Patreon. And all of the workshops are on Patreon, so you can do them anytime, any place. Plus we have a group chat now. So when you need to share something, say something, do something, I highly recommend you to connect on Patreon. Ask, connect, share, and let it happen. And then what else? Whoever needs to have a call with me, whoever needs to connect, you're more than welcome to do that. So twinflameawakeningjourney.com, all the information is there, and I'll see you very soon. Lots of love and light.
What a wonderful life. How lucky am I that I get to hold your pretty hands in mine. No clouds in the sky, nah, when you're by my side. It's like the sun is shining from those eyes. Darling, when you look at me, I forget how to breathe. The noise starts turning to a song. And I was blind, but now I see. Looked for eternity, but you were right there all along. You're where I belong. Side feels like the rain is gone. I'm holding on like the sun in the sky, like the stars in the night. When I look in your eyes, I knew it all along, all along. You're where I belong, where I belong. It's true, I'm ruined by you. So over my head, what can I do? Can't even see straight without you. And I can't lie, get me so nervous, I'm better than one People say love is fleeting, then why does every day with you feel like the happiest day of my life?